I am delighted now to be joined by Marc Wortmann. He's the Executive Director of ADI, and Daisy Acosta, who is the Chairman for ADI. Marc, Daisy, thank you for joining us. So tell me, Marc, it's a theme of 3 parts this year. What is it and why did you pick it?
The theme for this year is science, fact, fiction. And we picked it because we want to highlight 3 things during this conference. The latest news in medical research, the best practice in care for people with dementia, and public awareness and public health and awareness issues around the disease.
And that's quite a broad theme. Was it designed with a wider audience in mind?
Yeah, well, we want to bring together the whole community of people who are involved in this disease. So not only the researchers or only the care workers, but the people with the disease themselves, their families, everyone who is involved, so that we can bring the whole movement together, because we need this movement to make changes.
You know, that's the uniqueness of our conference, is the variety of audiences that we can have, because we have scientists, researchers, people with dementia, carers, people in the news like yourself, you know. We need all that kind of audiences in order to create, to raise awareness. And there is no other conference like that to unite so many people from different backgrounds. So that's important.
Daisy, tell me, it's been a year now since we were in Toronto. How will this year's event differ?
There are many key points, but one of the most important things in this conference is for the first time we have a very large amount of people with dementia joining us this time, telling us, guiding us, our work and what we should do, what are their needs, and that's really unique. They are chairing their own sections, they have chosen what they want to speak about, and you know, they are the voice of this movement. So it's important and unique that this conference has so many people with dementia joining us.
And the people with dementia are coming out of the shadows by giving them a platform in this conference to speak. And that's very important to show to the rest of the world that there are many people with this disease and that we have to solve their problems.
And is there a particular session that either of you are looking forward to or particularly excited about?
Well, it starts with the opening ceremony tonight. Often that's very formal, but today we have 3 very special speakers. Professor Peter Piot, who was involved in the HIV/AIDS movement. He thinks that Alzheimer's and dementia is now the main topic in public health for the future, and he's telling that. And I heard he was already on the BBC this morning. Terry Pratchett, who is of course a very famous writer, has dementia himself, and he will share his insights. And then we're giving an award to President Sarkozy of France, because France has made a very good Alzheimer's strategy a few years ago, and that has had an impact in the whole of Europe. Many countries started to work on doing the same, and we want to highlight that. Another thing that's where I'm interested in is early tomorrow morning there is a session on nutrition and dementia. So how does food influence the disease, and what can we do to help? There are several sessions on the public health developments. So in the last year, more and more countries have made their national plan for Alzheimer's and dementia. World Health Organization is coming up with a report soon. We have a variety of sessions touching on that.
And I think it's important, you know, it's not just science. We have an excellent social program when I am sure people are going to have a lot of fun and, you know, shared with each other.
So what are some of the issues or the challenges that you're hoping people will address here in London?
Well, one of them is there are new diagnostic guidelines for Alzheimer's disease, and there's a huge debate in the scientific world. The thing that we specifically put on the table is, does it work for lower and middle income countries as well? Because ideally a diagnosis should be made with imaging, with neuroimaging, so a PET scan or an MRI scan. But if you live in a country where the average income is $100 a month, you can't afford this diagnosis that costs you an annual salary. So in that parts of the world, we also want people to be proper diagnosed. But we doubt if these guidelines are appropriate. So we will.
Yes, that's true, you know. That's something that we have to look very careful into, because how you diagnose dementia, what words you put in it is important. And another important theme is stigma. You know, it is very important, and is an inner part of our movement to fight stigma. Dementia is an illness like any other, and people are not afraid to say that I have hypertension, I have diabetes, but they don't want to say I have dementia because that's stigmatized. So that's one of our aims, is really to work on that.